Hello everyone and welcome back to our excavator series, and with me today we've got our U17-3, and this video is dedicated to go over the daily operators checks that you should be doing for a machine like this on long-term hire. Now, to start with, we're going to begin with our visual checks before jumping into our fluids and levels checks, and then finishing up with our final safety and electrical tests. Let's get on with the visual checks, and what we're going to do is going to start on the left hand side of the excavator and work all the way around. Right, so straight on to these visual checks. We're going to start on the left hand side of the excavator, and we're going to start running around the hitch, checking for any damage to the hitch at all, and then up the arm and down the boom of the excavator, checking that our hydraulic rams aren't leaking or there's any visible damage to them. Come down to the kingpin, exactly the same there, and then we're going to check the dozer blades in good working order, as well as the ram that operates it as well. Down the side of the cockpit, we're checking out that the tracks are there in good working condition and that there's no obstruction stopping us getting in and out of the excavator with any obstacles at all. We'll go around to the rear of the machine, and on the rear of the machine we're going to just check the bodywork that's in good working order, as well as checking that the rollover protection structure is intact and that it's not damaged. And then we can work down the right hand side of the excavator doing those final visual checks before we move on to our fluids and levels checks. So as we come down the right hand side, we can check that the operating beacon is in good working order, as well as the rollover protection structure on the right hand side. Check the bodywork, that it's all in good condition, and also that will work all the way up the boom and then down the arm on the other side, double checking that the hydraulic rams are in good working order and there aren't any visible leaks from them. Now we have finished these visual checks, we can move on to the fluid and levels checks, which is going to require us to access the service compartment on the rear of the machine. So we're on the rear of the machine. I'm going to open up this service hatch here. We're going to use our operator's key, and it will just open up as so. It should lock into place for you, allowing you to service the fluids and the levels. So here we've got our engine coolant, we've got our oil dipstick, we've got our fuel filter and our air filter. Now those are the components that you can access from this service hatch. The final two things that we need to double check are the hydraulic fluid, which is on the right hand side, and the fuel filler cap. I'll show you how to do so, but first let's just close this service hatch up and then we'll go down the right hand side of the excavator. Okay, so we're going to do our hydraulic fluid check, which is this indicator just here on the middle of the machine, and then secondly we're going to do our fuel levels check by taking out our operator's key and popping it into this little compartment here, which if we unlock will expose our fuel filler cap and fuel gauge. Make sure that your machine is adequately fueled before starting your day's work, and then when you're finished, just lock that compartment back up. Now that you've done these checks, we can now move on to the final safety and electrical tests that need to be done from inside the excavator's cabin. Okay, so before jumping into the machine, ensure that you use the handlebars supplied on the rollover protection structure to ensure that we use 3 points of contact for your own personal safety. Okay, when safely in your seat, the first safety check we need to do is our seat belt. So we're going to take this out, we're going to pop it in on the other side, and then we're just going to give the seat belt a little tug to ensure that it works correctly. Once you are happy with that, you can detach the seat belt, and then we can do our final electrical test. This is going to require your operator's key. You're going to take this out and pop this into your ignition, turn it to position 1, and then what we're going to do is turn on our headlights and our operating beacon to ensure that these both work correctly. Once you're happy with those checks, you can turn both of those off, key off, remove your key, and then exit the machine so we can do our daily greasing checks before starting your day's work. Right, so on to the daily greasing checks. We're going to double check that the greasing nipples in and around the hitch, up the arm, down the boom are adequately greased, along with in and around the kingpin and the dozer blade, as well as on the excavator itself. Once you've conducted these greasing checks and made sure that the machine is adequately greased, your machine is now ready for its day's work. If you come into any problems when conducting any one of these checks that we've gone over in this tutorial video, you must get in contact with your local WHC hire depot as soon as possible so we can ensure that the machinery is safe for you guys to use. For any more information on how to operate the machinery or get the most out of your hire, feel free to scan the QR code that you'll find inside the machinery. that will link you to a number of step-by-step guides to help you with this excavator. Thank you ever so much for joining me in this tutorial video, and we look forward to helping you in the next one. But until then, take care. Bye-bye for now.